Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Taylor. I'm the co-founder of Perele, and we are a primarily D2C vitamin brand for women, and we create targeted vitamin routines for all the lovely various hormonal stages that we as women go through.
Doug Schneider. I'm the COO of Heart and Soil Supplements, and we are a health wellness company based in Austin, Texas, and we're a little bit different type of supplement company. We take organs from cattle in New Zealand, freeze dry them, mill them down into a little powder, put it in capsules, and we sell them as natural multivitamins.
My name is David Ghiyam. I'm co-founder of Mary Ruth's. We have no competition because we're a purely vegan brand. So we have no organs in our products. What we're known for is liquid supplements, but we've branched out into all life stages. We have about 200 products. 70% of them are better for you liquids, and then gummies and a few capsules. And yeah, that's it.
So by design, what is brand? The definition of brand, how we're building our brand. And I specifically made this to go building brand in 2024. Look, we are almost done with this year, which is so weird to say. It's like middle of October, back half of the year, and planning starts now. But I just want you guys to define for me, and I'm gonna start here with Alex. Brand. What is building brand, especially looking for 2024 for you?
Brand is about an identity. So when we went about building Perele, we really thought about how do we give people a sense of place and reflect that in a brand. And so for us, our goal is to create a brand that is truly an identity brand, so that when people are opening up our little sachets or wearing Perele swag, it says something to the world in terms of their sensibilities and how they value women's health. So for us, it's very much about an identity. And when we think about next year, we're very much thinking about how do we reinforce this identity that we've created around this brand. And while much of that can be reflected in partnerships and the like, we're really trying to kind of light the original playbook on fire and think about how do we rewrite the script on continuing to deepen this identity that we've created. So I can go on, but...
Yeah, I know. I'm going to stop you before you keep going.
Stop me.
How are you defining brand?
So, first off, for me, I'm not a marketing guy, but I had this experience with Heart and Soil, and we have a brand at Heart and Soil that is really powerful, that people really identify with, and we've had a lot of success. And we look back and think about the very early days when we were launching the company and how much time we actually spent on trying to define what our brand was, and the answer was basically zero. Like, we had a name, we had a logo, we had a terrible label, we had the worst website ever created, and basically we had people that were ready to buy because our founder, little background, our founder's a fitness influencer, or a nutrition influencer on Instagram, Paul Saladino, and he had people ready to buy. And what we found was when we launched the product that the customers really helped us define what our brand was to them. And we had a community that formed up right away, and it wasn't something that we really consciously tried to do, but we saw this potential to build something that people really identified with, and we just leaned into that really hard. And after we established the fact that we had this fit with the market, and that we had deliverability issues that we had fixed, we really leaned into the brand aspect, and it's just been this really fruitful thing that's created this organic flywheel for us that's really propelled us.
Gotta go to, absolutely.
So I saw this question before I came, and I asked myself if I had to build another brand, how I would do it. And a couple weeks ago I love meeting founders because I love to dissect their success. So I met this guy, and in 2 years, he built a brand to 150 million in revenue, just on D2C. And I asked him, I said, what did you do? So I asked all these questions, and the bottom line was this. He found a product that solved the problem. He came up with cute, memorable packaging, and his aim was 300 million impressions a month. He didn't care how he got there. And all he did is he built out a very inexpensive influencer team. He seeded these influencers, and he got to 1 billion impressions a month. Then that went to the website. Then that flowed into Amazon. The flywheel took off. The retailers took notice. Then the product was everywhere. And then he was able to pull back and become profitable. So if I had to do it all again, I would just say it's quickly getting to a lot of impressions, memorable packaging, and definitely solving a problem. Those three, especially now on TikTok, that any company I see can get to like quickly 100 million of revenue if they do those three things.
Well, you kind of brought this up of TikTok. TikTok we heard earlier around like partnering with creatives, talking about partnerships. Who's marrying Ruth? Like you have a persona, you have a partnership that is the brand. Carnivore MD is the brand. You are the brand. If you have this relationship with the product, relationship with the messaging, what happens when you pull that away? The product has to be good. You have to tell me, I'm going to go back to you. Tell me about is it deepening the partnerships? Is it doing more? Is it doing less partnerships? Mm-hmm. What are you thinking on this?
Okay.
Well, what's your definition of partnerships?
Definition of partnerships, you have partnerships of influencers, partnerships of brand co-collabs, but I want to stick with the influencers because that's a message that they're perpetuating out there that you're like, wow, if my brand is associated with X person, that is a reflection of the brand.
Yeah. This is maybe a controversial thing to say, but
Ooh, hot take.
I don't know that we'll be giving many dollars to influencers next year.
Why?
I want to give all my money to my own community, to my own customers. Our goal for next year is actually to transform our existing customers into our greatest influencers. There is no one that can better authentically speak to our brand, the experience, the value, what attracted them to it, than a woman who's been taking our products for 24 months. I mean, that is incredible. And so that's where we're really leaning in because there is an authenticity issue. And we're all really smart, and consumers are super smart too. Yeah. And we're reading between the lines. So we're going to lean into that for next year.
A little bit of a change of how that question is. Carnivore MD is a very polarizing individual there. You shared with me in the back, you're like, look, that for a period of time, you got to revenue is revenue, right? Like I'm not going to talk brand, I'm not going to talk performance, and we need dollars in. But at what point do you pull it back and be like, hey, I don't need as much as you everywhere?
Yeah, that was really tricky. So Paul Saladino, our founder, he was our marketing department for the first, 9 months of the business existing, maybe even longer, year. And we spent basically $0 on paid advertising. And he was the brand. And as a leadership team, we had a lot of discussions about maybe some pitfalls there and whether or not it was a good idea for us to try and build neutrality into our brand and have it stand alone, just because with influencers, Paul, he's doing his thing. We found that he's best when he's out in Costa Rica and he's surfing every day and he's making content. And we run this business. But we don't have control over Paul, and we have control over our brand. And trying to take the brand, merge it with our founder and keep that ethos, but building that neutrality has been something that for the long term is like, we just have to go about the work of doing this stuff.
I get you. You've had a very unique way of building that brand. Talk to me about this.
We have a unique way of what?
Building that brand.
I would say the way we built the brand originally was just on Amazon and being hyper-focused.
Stop there. Would you say you can even build brand on Amazon?
Oh, everyone needs to be on Amazon. I mean, we were just talking about it in the green room. Like, you have to be on Amazon. The longer you wait, you're just deteriorating your CAC, you're just being inefficient, and you're not doing right to the customer. Like,
that was not the question.
Okay.
Can you build brand?
100%. Remember, a brand is a great product that solves a problem and impressions. That's it. That's all you're going to remember.
I
And you know what?
agree.
Like, post
Entirely.
I'm just going to give the bottom line, because post Prime Day, we turned off all our ads because we saw that is the most inefficient time to run ads. Okay. So we literally just turned the faucet off, and it's been dark for a week, and it's going to be dark for another week. And it's unbelievable how people are just starting to forget about us. they just don't see it. The traffic's not there. It's the advantage of, let me put it this way. You want to do your P&L in a way where you can at least spend 15 to 20% on your marketing. Otherwise, you will be forgotten, brand or no brand. You're just going to disappear. And that's what's happening to a lot of these legacy companies that are bought out. Wait, am I saying something I shouldn't say?
No,
I beg to differ.
Go.
No,
Pop
no,
off.
this is-
Pop
this is
off,
good.
King.
But both are correct, but I'm just showing you from my point of view of kind of like, the lane that we drove through. But please.
No, I like what you're saying. Like, honestly, I think that there's a lot of like woo-woo aspects to brand that I think are probably overdone. And one point that I would make that kind of goes along with what you were saying is like what I was mentioning earlier, where we didn't have a brand when we first launched, but we had people that were there. What we needed to solve was this deliverability issue that we had in the beginning. And I'm an operations guy. Our supply chain was a complete mess. I had to go and fix all those things. But that was the most important thing. And I think a lot of people in the very beginning are like so concerned with the color palette and the logo and the website and all this stuff's got to be perfect. And I'm like, you don't even have a product yet that works. So you don't put the cart before the horse. And I think there is some aspects to like how important it is to have a brand that are a little overblown.
Alex?
Oh, I think what's interesting also about your brand specifically, and what I like to think about our brand, is that it was very much created in a subculture that was starting to percolate and grow. And those are actually where the most empowering, incredible, lasting brands come from. Think about Apple. Apple was nothing for a long time, and Apple meant nothing to no one. But Apple found a subculture and tacked on to that subculture in Silicon Valley, which we all know about, this crazy little town. But what's fascinating is they tacked onto this identity, so that when you see a little glowing Mac screen on the back of someone's laptop, what does that tell you about that person? It tells you that person's creative, right? You buy a Harley Davidson because you also are signaling to the world that you are born free and you are a badass. So I actually think that some of the most powerful brands are born in subcultures. Like yours was born in these people that want supplements made from animals' organs, and now there's a whole world around it.
Well,
I want to say something.
Who's looking for animal organs?
But there's a huge demo that wants it. By the way, if I had to build a brand again, I would do it exactly the way they're doing it. They're
Animal organs?
100%. There's a huge market there, and it's super focused. No one's doing it. It's
And
kind
it's
of
edge.
Huh?
It has an edge.
It has an edge. The packaging is great, and same with women's health. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't just be a vitamin company for everyone.
Yeah.
I would start it on Amazon, believe it or not. I would start it on
You're
Amazon.
going to die
ways.
on this hill.
Yeah, I would start on Amazon because again, a brand is a lot of people taking something. Right? And the logo and the packaging I made on Canva with no experience, $9.99 a month, and I just drew it. And it's been the same for 10 years.
My favorite, it's the same thing as like, is chicken before the egg. Does the brand exist before the product, or does the product exist before the brand?
I think
Hold
it
on,
goes
hold on.
both
Can I get
ways.
it? Let's do show of hands. Product before brand, brand before product. Product before brand. Brand before product. Sheesh! Oh my God.
But I think you can come
Who's
to
wrong?
fruition both ways. I think that if you have a product, you have to find a way to embed it in the culture and grow, and vice versa. So I actually think you can reverse engineer.
Wait, how do you
either
make
way.
money off a brand if you don't have a product? You don't have anything.
I was like, let me.
The
see.
product is what
You
makes money.
you go to Amazon.
Huh?
Amazon.
Amazon, you can't sell a concept. You got to sell a product. So I would say the product.
Well, okay, this is
Because the
this
product is what's adding value. The brand's not adding value.
This is what I'm talking about. Like the brand is important only behind the quality and the level of time and effort and money and energy into making sure the product does what it says it's going to do. 'Cause you can have a brand, for instance, you can say Marlboro is an incredible brand. It's a hell of a product that they're selling, Same thing with Apple, same thing with Microsoft, same thing with anybody that has an Android phone. Ugh. They are a brand, right? So I'm very curious on when you guys are thinking about your product. I'm going to go, Doug, here. Thinking about the product in itself, how other than the packaging, maybe it is just the packaging, what is the brand elements that go into that?
So, we're talking about Amazon, and we're talking about Shopify. In the very beginning days, we sold on both channels, and we had to choose one because of our supply chain issues. And we chose Shopify because, it was only because, well, one of the major reasons was, the margins were going to be better, and we wanted to do an unboxing experience. It was like,
You're not a brand guy either. This is killing you.
I know. And so no one else in our little category was really doing anything. They're all selling their stuff in plastic bottles and just Amazon. And we thought, okay, we're going to do a glass bottle. That was the first thing we did. And we're going to do a cool unboxing experience. And that was when we started to view ourselves as like, our brand could be that we're the premium product in, or the premium brand in this organ supplement category, that there wasn't one that existed, and that's what we were going to be. And it was something as simple as this unboxing experience that we figured out and people really loved. And I mean, I guess we could do that through Amazon, but
we have a horrible unboxing experience. I agree, but this works for a lot of people. But we have no unboxing experience.
It's so smart to invest there, though, if you are focused on brand, because that is the first touch point someone physically has with your brand, and it lasts such a lasting impression. There's some statistics around how important actually that moment is. I don't remember off the top of my head, forgive me, but it's hugely important.
Well, when you're not, on shelf stores, you're like, because typically that's like when you're thinking of marketing, you're like, it's like, how do we stand out compared to everybody else? And with D2C, it's totally different. There's a little bit more white space to play with. Like when they actually have that touch point with you, it's not in the store, it's on your website. How was that experience? And then when it shows up to your door, like solidifying this great experience that, yeah.
How does it, I've always wondered at what point in revenue, because we're thinking about now, like we get an Amazon box and there's a branding, and they've been playing with like, you know what, maybe if it's fulfilled by Amazon, will allow you to put branding on the outside of it and making that experience better. Do you guys go brand all the way to the box, or you're like, that's a cost I don't really want to accrue right now?
Do we take
So
brand all the
do
way
you
to the
take the
box?
brand all the way to the box, or is that unboxing experience something where you're like, this is a part of the brand that I want to make special?
Well, I can't speak to Amazon. Do you want to answer this?
No,
Is it
just in
specific
general,
to
yeah.
Amazon?
Go ahead.
Oh, well,
Not just
generally,
Amazon.
every single touch point. We are obsessed with it. Every single touch point, from the way that she even opens the box, has to be easy and convenient, because we have certain pillars to our brand that convenience, she's busy, she doesn't have time for BS. So that's even why, even our vitamin routines come in a single packet, so she can rip it open and be done and gone on her way. And by the way, they're recyclable, of course. And, that's important to us. We are very much focused on human-centric design, because we're all too busy to be pill sorting or finding this and that. And so that's something that we really take into account. So we obsess over it because it's an expression of brand.
This goes into one of your core selling products, which is the liquid, which is why you built that product, because as you learned about what the brand was, mothers to children, that was an easy way. That was allowing them to get their nutrients in a way that made most sense. That, in my sense, is like the total understanding of how my brand lives through product. Was that intentional?
So the first product he's talking about a 32-ounce bottle of liquid that the whole family could take. And I remember we had two products. We had a liquid and we had a capsule. We had tablets too. And it was just very simple. Everyone was doing capsules and tablets. Nobody was doing liquids. And I think the one company that was doing liquids, it didn't taste good. And so that was just the white space that we went into. And by the way, we had a box on this liquid, and we were selling like 1,000 of these a day. The box was costing us like 60 cents. And then we did a survey, and we asked the consumer, do you care for the box? And they say, well, it's nice, but you're wasting packaging, and you're ruining the environment, and I'd rather not. So then I said, well, in those 60 cents, I'd rather put it back into the marketing or a better consumer experience. So we played with both. At the end of the day, this is what we learned. The consumer just wants a great product, wants it not to break before they get there, wants it to taste good, wants it to work. All the eco stuff, which is really important, all the surveys showed our consumer didn't care. And we have a high-end consumer. It's a nice concept, but if it's causing you to be delayed, have a bad P&L, not be profitable, like, you have to really think about that. Because all those little things are sucking energy and sucking bandwidth. You just got to make a great product that people will love and enjoy and come back for again.
But I do think a lot of it, too, is about experience. And I think we're both catering to probably a higher household income mother. And I think there's space for both of us, because your customer doesn't care, but ours does. And so to me, that says there's always room for us, for everyone to be playing in the same sandbox. but it is true. I think it just depends on who you're going after.
No, I think about this often because even as we're trying to, when you've just launched a brand and you're like, I am going to create all these personas, I'm going to make these landing pages that are going to speak to a specific segment, and then all of a sudden it goes live and it just doesn't work. And you're like, the customer doesn't know what the customer doesn't want. I'm going to tell the customer exactly what they want. So you can do all the surveys you want, but at what point do you go, this customer doesn't know? Only thing I'm going to judge it upon is what products are they buying? How have you used customer sentiment? How have you used, how would you say this? Feedback from your buyers to actually shape the new products or making your products better?
All the time.
In
All the
what
time.
way? Is it Facebook
So-
group? Is it email? Is it
No,
post-purchase?
just even in their consumption habits and the data that we hear back from them. So the best example is the center of gravity for our business is prenatal vitamins. We have vitamins for other life stages, but that's the bread and butter of our business for many reasons that I won't get into. But what was interesting is because we know when a woman experiences any form of pregnancy loss, she can report that to us. And 9 out of 10 times, people do. And we started to see that there was 1 in 4 pregnancies end in pregnancy loss. Most of us don't know that, so newsflash.
Yeah, I didn't know
but
that.
that's part of the experience of bringing children to this earth. And so we started to see an overwhelming volume, and we thought, my God, can we create something? So we called up our doctors, because our doctors create all of our products, and we said, listen, is there something that we can create that is backed by research to support this woman who's experiencing loss? And there is, and we came out with a product for it. And so I think even just seeing that type of customer behavior without explicitly asking them, I think is a really elegant way to do product development. But also you can ask your customers too where those gaps are, which is also an equally admirable and smart way to go about
See,
it.
that's genius.
That's so good.
It's
Oh,
genius because
so good.
no one is
good.
dealing with that problem. I remember like Mary Ruth had like 3 miscarriages before we even had our first child, and nobody knows about this stuff. Actually, most women sometimes don't even know that they're having a miscarriage, and that's a brilliant way of approaching a problem that no one else is dealing with.
Yeah, that's why you're going to win. Fact. Have you used any customer feedback? I know you're very data driven on your side. Has customer direction instigated anything, or maybe not in the products that you're creating, but what about in the experiences that you're creating, in the events you're trying to do, in the partnerships you're trying to have? Has a customer insight allowed you to expand a different segment of your brand that you never knew you had?
I would say what I've learned is what I think is important to the consumer is different than what they think. So I will literally ask random people on the street. If I see somebody has a kid, I'll go up to them. It looks creepy at first, but then I introduce myself and I say, wait. And so I say, what vitamin brand do you trust with your kids? And so I also believe the universe sends you messages through random people. So I'm constantly going to random people to get messages. And I'll make business decisions completely based on what one person will say to me on an airplane. and I put that intention out there. I literally tell the universe, tell me what I need to know via these 3-4 people. And what I've learned is everybody, like the one thing we learned is like mom wants to make sure that what they're giving their kids is safe. So we went out there and we found the organization that tests for heavy metals and pesticides and toxins. And we tested all of our products for that and spent all this money, like millions of dollars a year just to test for 200 toxins in a product. But what that did is all our advertisements, all our marketing says, oh, by the way, like, are you taking vitamins with pesticides? Because here's the seal of approval. And so the CAC dropped dramatically. So even though we spent millions of dollars, the marketing became hyper efficient.
Right. We have about 1 minute and 27 seconds left. In that amount of time, change some lives today. What are... No, really, 20...
I didn't
Of
understand
course
what
you want it. Go. Pop
I got
off.
one too. You want to go?
No. I was going to ask what the crowd really is looking for.
Oh, yeah, we could give it to them, but I've got something too. So this is something I've been thinking about, and something we've been arguing about at Heart and Soil lately is like, when you're looking at your marketing calendar next year and thinking about your marketing strategy, like, how much time and energy do you need to spend trying to fix like weaknesses that you perceive in your marketing? And would that time and energy be better served leaning into the strengths that you've already established for your brand? And that's kind of the back and forth that we're having right now. And I happen to be in the camp that I think you're going to get a better return if you lean really hard into what you've already established as your strength and you direct all your energy that way. So people that are leading their companies here, like, keep your people focused on those strengths. I think trying to cover those weaknesses is and chasing memes because you read a Twitter thread that said you got to do this or that. I'm like, you're going to be fitting a square peg into a round hole. Just focus on what you're good at, and you guys already know that.
Appreciate that.
All right, can I jump in? Yeah. Do what only your brand can do. We are in an incredibly, very competitive space, as we all know. So when I look at every single dollar that I can spend, I have to make sure that something only Perele can do, and Mary Ruth can't do it. I have to make sure that if I do it, I'll get 10x if a competitor tried to spend that same dollar. So that's something I challenge my team with every single day. They're sick of it, but it has to be only something our brand can do, and I think that keeps us really centered.
Love that.
I love that. I would say I've noticed that every business is limited by the belief system of the founder. And that's why when companies sell to the big strategics, the company's pretty much done because the founder, who was the visionary, had unlimited belief systems, would draw this amazing energy, draw the right people. You know, I always say, like, Elon Musk believes it's easy to go to Mars, so he attracts all the right engineers, all the right ideas that helps him go to Mars. If I think it's hard, then we'll never get there. So my head of retail, I tell him, do you think it's easy this year to hit whatever, X, 50 million of revenue? And he says, I don't know. That's going to be tough. Right away, I know that he won't be the right person. Because if he doesn't believe it, he's not going to attract all the right people, the right ideas, the right products. And then everyone under him, it's going to suck. It's going to suffocate the energy so it can't go down to the team under. So every month, we actually interview everyone, and we check their belief systems about what they think is possible, what they can receive, and make sure there's no choke point of energy.
That's incredible. I'm going to take a page out of your book.
It's so necessary. We don't need post-lunch espressos. We just need the debate on what brand is every time. Thank you three for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.